post something about political violence. You say it's not okay to storm a government building, threaten public officials, or glorify that kind of action. And almost immediately, someone replies, "Where were you when people were burning cities in 2020? Funny how you're suddenly upset now. What about all the times your side did worse?" Just like that, the conversation isn't about this moment anymore. It's about your credibility, your track record, your side. And maybe it works. Maybe you freeze. Because now it feels like you can't talk about anything unless you've talked about everything at the right time, in the right order, to the right audience. This is I Should Have Said, a podcast about the moments that leave you stuck, spiraling, or speechless. We unpack what really happened, we name the move, and we give you the language to stay grounded the next time it shows up. Today's episode, Whataboutism, a way to change the subject without admitting that's what you're doing. The term whataboutism came from the Cold War. Western journalists would report on human rights abuses in the Soviet Union. Soviet officials would respond, "What about racism in America? What about Vietnam? What about your imperialism?" They weren't denying the problem, they were shifting the spotlight, and they did it so consistently that Western analysts gave it a name: whataboutism. It sounds like accountability, but it's not. It's a rhetorical smokescreen. Today, it's everywhere. Not just in politics, not just online. You raise a concern in your workplace. Someone says, "Interesting. But where were you last quarter when we had a similar issue?" You speak up in your family. They say, "You didn't seem to care when it happened to someone else." You bring up harm, and instead of addressing it, they test your moral resume. Psychologists call this motivated reasoning, processing information to protect what you already believe. And the subtext of whataboutism is simple. If I can show that you are inconsistent, I don't have to engage with your point. But here's the truth. Consistency is admirable, but not required for your voice to matter. You can care now, even if you missed something before. You can speak today, even if you were silent yesterday. You are allowed to learn out loud. Whataboutism erodes that. It says unless you've said everything, you can't say anything. Unless your moral record is perfect, your opinion is worthless. And in that world, no one gets to speak. So what do? First, you don't take the bait. If someone deflects with whataboutism, don't follow them off course. Say, "That's worth discussing," but not as a way to avoid this. Let's stay with this before we pivot to something else. This issue matters, even if others do too. These aren't evasions, they're anchors. Another option: name what's happening. That sounds like a deflection. You haven't responded to what I said. I'd still like to hear your thoughts on it. If they're acting in good faith, that helps them refocus. If they're not, it signals that you're not here to play dodgeball. Here's the bottom line. You don't need a perfect track record to tell the truth. You don't need universal coverage to care. Whataboutism makes clarity feel like arrogance. It makes truth feel incomplete. But you're not being dishonest for staying on topic. You're being responsible. This is I Should Have Said, where we cut through guilt traps, shame pivots, and rhetorical shell games, where we stay with the thing that matters long enough for it to land. So the next time someone says, "What about?" just remember, they changed the subject. You don't have to follow.